I've seen interviews, conversations, podcasts with where people that are not incels talk to people that are incels, and I've seen a certain pattern to a certain extent. Basically, people like in our constellation, me trying to either help you to get out of the state that you're in, or maybe it's not that explicit, but everything they talk about is directed to that goal, basically. Otherwise, it would not make sense. The whole conversation would not make any sense. Or it is me telling you that you live in a distorted reality and that you like that's like basically the two parts of the conversation. And I don't know, did you watch Kidology? Do you know Kidology? She has a pretty big YouTube channel, and she had a conversation. She had an episode of her podcast with an incel, and I don't know if you watched it. Are you familiar? Okay.
I guess I don't know. Maybe at one. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think throughout the end, that was the only podcast or the only thing I watched where towards the end it was just like more her being curious just about the situation of that person, and then acknowledging that there is that's just the situation of that person, no matter if there is a basis in objective reality for everyone, or like that's. And what do you think about the general conversation? You've had conversations before, right? Like this.
Yeah.
How do you feel about them? Because I feel like they suck. It's really not satisfactory.
I think. Well, I had a real interview with some British company, whatever. That was back a year ago, 2 years ago now. It's on YouTube. It was an incel documentary, and I was in it. But I was only in there for like 5 minutes. I talked to the lady for 2.5 hours. So, they cut out a lot of. The way I look at it is it's pretty much like that, except less professional, I guess. As in, they're going to distort your views and what you actually mean by whatever. I'm somebody who likes to use a lot of metaphors and all that crap. I'm very hyperbolic about things, but people take it very seriously. So, if you say, I can't wait until I'm so and so age and then I'm going to kick the chair, or, so and so.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's not talk about stuff like that. Yeah.
Or you can go get hit by a truck. It's that type of stuff people did really. I think depending on who I'm talking to, it can either be a good conversation or a bad conversation. But I think it also is if they're normies, if they're not an incel and they're just a normie, they already have bad intentions. They already look at you as the bad guy anyway. Because they don't expect much from you. They expect you to be this disgusting, vile creature.
You feel, yeah.
Whereas I'm indifferent. They could be scared of you, and I'm just indifferent. I'm just like, I'm just going to say what I want. And then if they don't like it and they think I'm hostile or this or that, I'm just going to be like, well, you came into the interview hostile toward me. So it's. So.
I think we really have to work on rewarding people for not acting out, basically, when they're suffering. I feel like societally we like the biggest attention that people that are talking about men's problems that they get is when it's about like misogyny or something like that. And and don't get me wrong, like I think that a lot of the shit that you guys or also the red pillars are saying is pretty misogynistic. I'm pretty, I would say I'm pretty left leaning. I'm pretty progressive guy, not unreasonably, but there is some stuff where I would say it's, I wouldn't consider inceldom or blackpilledness by definition misogynistic, not at all. I think there's a lot of people that are not misogynistic at all, but there is some, like, I feel like we're mostly seeing the guys that are misogynistic and that are saying like outlandish stuff like, I don't know, women shouldn't vote or something like that, you know, like, or like just some random stupid shit, you know, like, I don't know, state mandated girlfriends or something like that, you know, like, and we're giving a lot of like societally and also from a media perspective, these people get a lot of attention, and that really bothers me. I would much rather, much more preferred, and I think because that's the majority, the people that are just suffering in silence and are just like, that's the people we should listen to, and that's the people we should talk to. And so I guess that's the reason why the conversations can be so hostile by nature, because they started off with the wrong reason, right? So if I like, I don't want to talk. Yeah, that's just not something that I think we should do. Do you feel like you have a responsibility for the image of this community? Do you care about that at all?
Not at all, because I did it for myself in the first place, and that's why I could care less if I had 20 subscribers or if I had 1,000. I don't care. It's for myself.
Do
Um,
do you try
I'm
to?
I'm not big enough for my views or whatever to get out there and become anything more than just, you know, that basement dweller talking in his basement. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not popular, so like
I mean, you have people
I
that
think
look up to you, right?
if I was like face LMS and I had like 100,000 subscribers, that's a completely different situation.
I mean, but okay, but do you have like? I mean, generally, if we talk about like an oppressed group, like let's say, okay, incels are an oppressed group, right? Like, you maybe might have like anger towards the rest of society, but don't you have like compassion and, I don't know, love for the people that are suffering from the same things as you, in a way?
Of
Or
course,
yeah?
of course. It's just when certain ideologies get in the way because somebody can be a virgin just like me, but then they're a feminist or they're this and that, and they, you know, they're pro women pretty much. They're pro equality, which I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not going to get along with that person. You know,
But yeah.
this isn't an incel you know, quote unquote. I would call them a fake cell
Oh,
before I'd
really?
ever call. Yeah,
So
because if you believe in women's rights and you believe that women are just as capable and all this other crap, and you believe that women can speak for men and all this stuff, which
mhm.
women do, they speak for men.
I mean, they obviously
Many times.
can,
But
because they do.
my point is, if
Yeah.
you think females are our ally, then we're not compatible as
Okay,
we can't
so
be.
that's interesting. So so you don't see that. So what is that person? Because you know what, the thing is, like, when I talk to people that are not incels and they have nothing to do with the topic, they say the same thing as you, and then tell them, no, that's not true. Incel is not a political ideology. Incel is something from which people suffer by definition, and it has nothing to, that person can be misogynistic, that person can be a feminist, it can be everything. So I always talk about, now you say the same thing as the people. So
No,
how do we
uh,
reconcile
well, I don't
this?
know what normies are you talking about that
Just
would
regular
agree.
people that have nothing to do with the topic.
Most people. most people are on women's side. Most people, men and women, are feminists.
Yes.
The only people who are anti-feminist are the fake grifters that you'll hear on the conservative side. You know, the females that are all like the commentators. You know, who will say they're anti-feminist. Guys who will say they're anti-feminist, but they're not. They're all pro-feminist. I'm talking
Yes.
about legit and anti-feminists like myself
But how
is
do
very
we
small and few. Very small and few.
what do we call the people that are involuntarily celibate and are feminists, for example? What do we call them? Like,
And call them fake cells.
but they are incels, right? They're suffering from the same. Like, maybe then we need a new word. I don't know, because like,
No, because incel. This is the problem. Is before I would say COVID caused a lot of this because you have a lot of normies now coming into the incel space, and they have their ideologies already intact. And these are the grifters. These are the posers. They come in and they pretend that they're incel because I lost my girlfriend 6 months ago. That is what people
no, no,
think an
no,
incel
no,
is.
no, no. We're not talking about
So
those. We really genuinely talking about
these are
someone
normies. These are
who
normies that
has.
believe that agree with you is what I'm saying.
I agree with you. You're right. Like there is a lot of people that just come into the space to for everybody to tell them how good looking they are, and that that I definitely agree with you. But I want to know, like, what do we do with the people that are really like genuinely they have the same problem as you? Like, I don't know, it could be for different reasons maybe, but they have the same problem. They have the same condition, let's say, and but they're politically completely in the opposite direction.
But
It's
you don't have to be right wing or left wing. I don't care about I actually don't really care in
okay.
that sense because to be fair, the right hates incels just as much as the left. They're just not as
Yeah,
vocal about.
yeah,
They're just not
yeah,
vocal.
yeah, yeah.
So I understand. So I don't really care where the person comes from. It's as soon as they start acting like we're all equal and we're all this or that, and a lot of them reject the black pill because not everybody who's black pill is an incel, not everyone who's an incel is black pill.
Exactly, exactly. So
But,
maybe we
but
can do
in
a
my
distinction there. Maybe we can say
but
he's
the
not black pill,
problem is,
but he's an incel.
but in actual but I'm saying like what it comes down to is when you become an incel, you're going to become black pilled because of well, especially if you're going to go on the forums and watch videos because that's what these kids are going to do. You know, these 18-year-olds are going to come on YouTube or TikTok or whatever it is, and
Mm-hmm.
they're going to hear someone who's older talking about the black pill, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times that gets related to the incel thing, and then that's why they kind of go hand to hand. You got incel and black pill, but I mean, you can be incel and red pill, I guess, but
Yeah,
most
right.
but problem is the people who
Looksmaxxers.
still think right, but the people who still think they have a chance have more of a red pill mindset than a
Yeah,
black pill mindset.
yeah. But
So I mean, it is what it is.
yeah, I'm looking for a word that is like the least uh exclude, like that is excluding the least amount of people, where I would say it makes still sense to put them in one group. Like if like I would prefer the term incel to be used merely as a description for a
Right, like an
for
umbrella,
something that people are suffering from.
term.
Yeah, yeah,
I was gonna say, if you want to call people who are actually incel like myself, then we call ourselves true cells. That's
yeah,
very
yeah,
specific.
yeah. But I mean, like true cells, like there will be, yeah. That's
Then
a
again,
difficult one. Yeah.
I call myself dark cell for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I that's why I don't really believe I'm the same as most incels, just because I don't think they have the nerve to be as unfiltered as I am. They're not as willing to go deep down the rabbit hole about a lot of things because it's not just about women, it's about society in general. That's what the dark pill, the dark cell is all about, is how brutal and disgusting this world really is.